spent in a miserable way.
US News: US Midwest freezes. Australia burns. This is the age of weather extremes. The New York. Want climate news in your inbox? Our email newsletter. In Chicago, officials warned about the risk of almost instant frostbite on what could be the city's coldest day ever. Warming centers are, at the same time, on the other side of the planet. Soaring air conditioning. This is weather in the age of extremes. It comes on top when something happens to you, whether it's a cold snap, a wildfire, a hurricane, any of those things. We need to think beyond what we have seen in the past and assume there's a high probability that it will be worse than anything we've ever seen, said Crystal Colden, an associate professor at the University of Idaho, who specializes in wildfires and who is currently working in Tasmania during one of the state's worst fire seasons. Consider these recent examples. Heat records were toppled from last year. In parts of Australia, is it climate change? Heat and drought extremes are consistent with scientific consensus. More greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere bring a greater likelihood of abnormally high temperatures. Also, the real-life numbers bear out the climate model. Concentration. As for the extremely low temperatures this week in parts of the United States, they stand in sharp contrast to this. They may also be. Emerging research suggests that a warming Arctic is causing and pushing polar air down to latitudes that are unaccustomed to them and often unprepared. Hence this week's Friederike Otto, an Oxford University climate scientist who studies how specific weather events are exacerbated by global warming, said that while not all of these extreme events can be attributed to climate change, the profound changes in the Earth's atmosphere raise the likelihood of a large number of extreme events. This means it becomes crucial to understand well where your community is vulnerable, and this can be something that was not on the agenda without climate change, she said. Take Chicago, for instance. It woke up to the outcomes that a generation of Chicago residents has never experienced, with Wednesday night temperatures that dipped to -21 degrees Fahrenheit, or -29 Celsius. The city's record low is -27 Fahrenheit, recorded in January 1985. The city said it would, even on a day when it is colder than average where you live. The world as a whole is frequently warmer than average. You can even see extreme heat, though, is the bigger problem overall. In the United States since the 2000 deaths, one recent projected a 5-fold rise in heat-related deaths for the United States by 2080. The outlook for less extreme heat also affects the nutritional value of many crops. Even some of our this year, heat has been a problem in both the northern and southern hemispheres. In Alaska, Bob Henson, a meteorologist at Weather Underground, a forecasting service, said that in preparing for how climate change affects the weather, we have to be prepared for a wider range of possibilities. Chicago will be as cold as the Arctic on Wednesday. We'll show you why. Some preparation is connected to resiliency. Mayor's promise to drive Colden, the fire specialist, noted that as a species, we pride ourselves on being resilient. But that human trait, in our DNA, we've got this extreme resilience baked in, Drive Colden said. That ends up being us. Lydia Albeck-Rita and Charlotte Graham McClay contributed reporting.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.